high. There we go. Got everything set up in like 8 minutes. And got a drink. She dead. I love that shot though. That's gonna make it too strong, but it's good. So, I think we were working on building this shot. Because we had them and then... Oh, yeah, shut it down. Okay, yeah, I think that is, well, actually, I wonder if I should have, I think this is just doing a straight zoom here. It's even a linear move, which is fine. But, oh no, I think it is changing a little bit, but I was thinking about like, kind of like that, because it shifts the perspective quite a bit. But that will also change the focal point. I hate that it always goes a little past what I set to. Okay, that's pretty accurate. Oh, okay. I just felt that that shot needed more than, because all you do is with the camera is change it from like this, or which I guess you could say is like a rotation based look. Your shot is basically a picture, and you're just moving within it. It doesn't give any feeling of moving within a 3D space. So by doing this this motion, it actually causes a change in the look of the 3D space, which I think enhances things a little bit. Okay, that was distraction. So what I want to kind of do is get some of these shots to be not their final look, but closer to, because sometimes once you actually get things set up, you realize that maybe they don't work. And so I don't want to have these shots be where I'm working towards something that actually doesn't work. Like, for instance, their perspective. I want to put all of the main 6 in there, but are they all going to fit? Do they all kind of work? If I actually put them in their current environment, does it work? So I don't want to rely on a shot that just wouldn't have an outcome. And I could probably skip this being the map, the Canalot High map, kind of like I did for this one. But I'll have to see. There's actually an effect I want to add here. I have to... Well, there it goes a little lower. There we go. That's a bit better. There's an effect I used on something else because you're gonna have like wind and everything on the end of it, and to me the clouds do a pretty good job of showing that it's traveling through the air, but it's not doing a good job of showing how that air is being affected by everything. So there was a particle I used. I think I know which one it is. It's probably going to be workshop. Maybe. Yeah, workshop, particles. Particles. No. There it is. Speed lines. And then I think cone. Yeah, I think so. And then we want that from, let's say, 105 to have that run for 6 seconds. Oh, that's not even the right shot. Because I used this particle once before for doing... Actually, I probably want to reference it so I know what I'm trying to accomplish. On this one, on the, I didn't use it here. I used it for when it was, I think, crashing. Yeah, so on the ends of these, like wing bits, I added it for visual effect. Because they're supposed to be going super, super fast. So, kind of want to do something like that, I guess. But I can't remember exactly how I did it, but sometimes that's the fun part, relearning. But I'm almost 100% certain that it was this particle effect. Oops. Thinking it was in the wall. Okay. I'm not seeing it though. Could be that something got busted in this one. I've had it downloaded for a long time. No, it's still there. So why can't I see? It's either I can't see it or it is much bigger than I anticipated. Or I did the time stupid. I just did the time stupid. Hello, Blur to Blah. How are you doing? There we go. Now it works. Does this churn with me? Yes, it does. Sweet. Actually, I can just lock it to the rocket. Oh. Apparently that didn't. Oh, yeah, it doesn't work that way. There. Okay, that's not how I want it rotated. So let's try 90. Nope. It must have turned it on a different axis when I locked it. Tired? That's not good. I can do it pretty good. Okay, so this is going to be -90. no, work was good. Work has been good. Everything's been good. Well, that's kind of actually, I think, one of the reasons for it, because you can use that for it, and I have before. But I don't know, you're on when I showed that. So the intent is to kind of copy the effect that I had here on the wings. I just basically took the same particle effect, and with the motion blur, you just drastically reduce the opacity, and you just put a bunch more of them. And it just kind of makes a wobbly air look. At least I'm pretty sure that's how I did it. Because if I go and if I can't figure out exactly how it's not this particle effect. Just remembered. I think it's HD large. I believe HD large is actually a they're similar. But there we go. Yep, that's what it was. Okay, yep. Just, I had to have it click. I haven't used that particle in a long time, so that'd be why. I'm guessing these are all based on the same rotations. Yep. Okay. So this particle effect does kind of break down if you get just at the right angle, because you're basically, it's spotting them at an angle. Normally a sprite or a 2D thing like that is set to always face the camera, so no matter where you move it always faces the same. That's how the fire usually works. But this one looks like it's spawned, what is it? There's 3 different ways to orient a sprite, and this is the 3rd variant. One being it's always locked to the camera. The second being it faces the camera, but it rotates it's still in line with the ground. So if you look from above, you will see the texture, but it still rotates to face you. Grass does that a lot of the times. That's actually how fire would be. And then this one is the one that just ignores all 3. You can actually set that. I can't remember what it is, but you can set how you want to have the sprites orient to you. Back when I was actually looking into this kind of thing. So for this though, movement locked to control point. I'm not going to do any movement, so I'm just going to remove that. I do want it to fade and decay. I want rotation. I want less and basic. It's going to be easier to go through here and just see what I don't need to change to focus on what I do. Modify offset. So right now it's going way in front of. I could keep it because technically that's where I am going to be from, or it was about where I want it to be, but it's easier if I just put or have it tie in with the point, even if it was pretty close there. So okay, modify warp. What is this doing? I think this is making it wide. Yep. So all this is doing is it's warping it to be wider, but I don't want it to be wider. I want it to be round. So we'll just keep that off. We want it to be tighter. And to do tighter, that's probably because it's positioning out from a ring and then flying out from there. Yep, so let's tighten that ring. Let's do 20. All right, what I think I'm actually going to do here is we're going to keep, well, let's shrink down this size a little bit. It's kind of big. So we'll shrink this down to, maybe not 1/10, but like 1/5. So this would be down to 5 and 15. Oh. Maybe not. I can probably work with that. Well, yeah, I can work with that. So I want to take, because this is spawning, but when it spawns, it's already past that. It's larger than that circle. Hello, purple. I'm still making stuff. Okay, so we want to spread this out a little bit. So we're gonna increase that ring size a bit more. Let's go to 40. That's a bit better. But I think I want to have this be, because right now it's coming out at a steep angle. I want to have it come down at a no, actually I really don't. Like yesterday I responded to like 2 or 3 tweets on there, but like one of the images I already had done from something before, and the others took me like half an hour. So like it was pretty quick. Most of the stuff I've been posting on there is old stuff. I really haven't. I have to probably put more time into it soon because I'm going to run out of content like in a week. But that was the plan during Friday's stream. We're going to make another one. So how do I flatten these? Because right now it's coming out at a very, very, like a 45-degree angle. I've heard MMD is pretty nice. They have a lot better physics. Actually, they have physics. SFM doesn't. So this is speed. What if I slow down the speed? This is just testing. Okay, so that is changing our angle. So we want to speed that up then, which is going to change the length of our lines. I don't want them to be so long, so we're going to shrink those a little bit. Let's drop that to maybe, yeah, I'm going to drop this to half length. Oh no, it's 15 is 7.5, right? Yeah, 7.5. Okay. And the reason I did is because now I can fatten these up a bit more. I'm just trying to add a wind effect to the front of this rocket. I've done it before, but I want it to be subtle, and right now it's not. It's a little strong. So, and actually this could kind of work, but not really. So I'm going to tighten that ring a bit more. So a lot of this is just poking and trying to find something that works. I think what I'm going to do here, if I get too much tighter, it's going to, because the line, oh no, I did decrease the line, so this might actually work. Because when the line spawns, it spawns, but then the line's created from that. So even though I have a distance between the 2 points, when it spawns, it's creating an angle down, and they start crisscrossing at like the front of the cone. So that's why, like, if I drop this to 0, ooh, that's actually kind of cool. Do I have to have some kind of a cone shape? Yeah. That's why at the front here, you're actually seeing it crisscross back forward. So I have to make sure I'm not crossing that threshold. But it looks like 20 works. What is this initial speed? Oh, that's perfect. It means I should be able to slow down this by a little. Let's drop it to 800, 400. And I'm trying to keep the ratios the same. A little bit more. So let's go to 180, 90. Now I have to also be careful because this happens. You're seeing the textures get on there weird. But what's also happening And actually, I can fix that by just stretching this out a little bit forward, putting more of it towards that side. And there is a setting on the textures that will like blend when it interacts with the model at those edges, but I can't remember what setting that is. Yeah, it's a little fat still. Drop this back. Or is there? Let me see if I can have this scale. I can. That's kind of a cool look. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that's gonna work. So right now it is definitely coming right from that. I think what I'm gonna do is, I don't have to add another, I can just have it do more of them, is I'm gonna decrease the alpha on this because it's pretty low as it is, but I'm gonna make it so that it's harder to see, and then we're going to double its count. So I made them half as visible and then more often. That should balance it out a little bit. Okay, that should work. Can I vary its positioning along the ring forward and backward? I don't think so. If I do this. Oh, that's kind of cool. So this makes it so that it spawns it evenly around the outside, which could actually be kind of... Actually, I kind of like that. Because if it's going random, that's implying that it's just the air itself. Like, a lot of what's going to cause this type of like air movement is something getting in the way of the air, and to me that means that it's going to always be in that spot. So it would be cool if I could have them like arc out a little bit, but I think I'm going to keep it as is. Did I break something? I'm not seeing anything now. I wonder if there's certain settings that do not work in SFM, and I'm thinking even distribution is one of them. Oh, I can set how many. So I can say things you learn. There we go. Oh, that's cool. See, if experimenting is super fun. Just push buttons until you find something that works. All right. So that actually looks pretty good. If I put back on random, yeah, even that kind of works. And the angle I have it at, it looks like it works well, but the thing it is doing right now though is wrong color. It needs a little bit of a hint of purple or something just to match with the air around it. So there's no color on here, so we'll give it a color random, and it's going to be ever so slight. Let's go like the that. Well, I can probably have it fade to that, but the way I see it is and actually that's the thing I wanted to do. I need to bring down the alpha a lot more. If anything, bring it back a little bit more. There we go. See, now it kind of works, but all the clouds are purple. So yes, I do want to have a little bit more purple, but yes, I do agree that towards the back, it does get towards the rocket. So what I can do with that is we grab a color fade, and then we do like an orange. So then it starts out kind of purplish, but then it fades to the orange. And I could probably actually increase the life of those just a little bit. 5. Ooh, no. Let's put it to 5 million seconds. Hello, Red. Hello, Red. And goodbye, potentially. Okay. So that actually feels pretty good. I like that. But that needs more than that. Spike is making clouds.
Yay.
So the way I see it is, there's going to be more than just that that's going to cause disturbance. There's going to be probably 2 other spots, or no, 3 other spots. The lip here, these, and Spike. So I'm going to add in those as well, which shouldn't actually be that bad. So this would be the rocket Airstream. Oh, sure. And I'm going to call this the main one. Are you in a Parcels group?
So how was your drive this morning?
There was nothing. It was just roads.
It took me an hour 15 minutes to get to work today.
It took me like 8. The roads were fine. There was nothing on the road.
That's not the case. It didn't take me an hour 15. Even my boss was a half hour late to work.
Why?
Because the roads were solid ice.
I had nothing.
All
I drove the
highways.
speed limit all the way to work.
I had to 5 miles an hour all the way to work. Everybody did. And you're just like, well, I just flew over all of it.
Yeah, I
In
did.
my magic car.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
Well,
you're just jealous.
I'm a magic flying car. Get one of those rockets that Spike's flying.
Okay. And so this one I want to do is going to be, I'm going to call it just lip. So this one I'm going to put up here. And let's increase that. Brain fart. Okay, so I want to increase this a bit. I'm also going to increase that alpha by a lot just so I can see it. This has to be at a higher value. Oh, that's going to be too much. So that I get a higher angle. Looks like I need a higher radius. Actually, it turned out really, really good. Like,
Did you put that together?
it's a speed line bit, and then we've just been playing with the settings to make it fit.
It looks really good.
It's the same thing I used in the Alishai video for the plane in there. Okay, yeah, so lifetime, I want to have this be a lot less. What?
I was agreeing with what that person said, but I had to put my glasses on to read what they said.
Oof, that's not going to work. Well, maybe. This one might. Oh no, this is a random. I might need to set this one up to be the consistent. No, that's still not gonna work either. But it still feels like it's jumping around. But I think it's just because of the angle we're looking at. We see the ones from behind. It should be a lot better once they're actually there. Yeah, should be fine. Yeah, that radius needs to be, I think, a bit, or not radius. This needs to be a bit wider. Oh, actually, that's getting pretty close. Let's try 35.
Did you have the front of the rocket detached from the rest of it, or?
No, it's just so you can sound on camera. So why do I need it? Save processing. Actually, I think. Can I decrease? If I decrease this velocity, it's going to bring it down. Okay. Now, if I increase this, no, that's going to bring it higher. So we got to bring down this velocity too. So we'll go 80, 160. Okay, now I got to bring it a little closer. Bring in that radius just a teeny bit. Okay, and now bring that alpha back down. Not too low as the other one though. I want to have this one be more pronounced. Oh, more pronounced than that though. Okay, and I think just a little bit longer. I think that works pretty good for that. No, we're gonna make it a little bit more visible. Okay. After that we have these two pieces. So these are not round though. So I'm going to take this main one and we're going to, do we want to keep it round? Don't really need,
Rocket's round, isn't it?
don't really need to. No, it's for the other two spots are right here and him. They're not round. They're not in the sense that it's not. If I have it coming around his head, I only need it from basically the ring on the top and bottom. I don't want it coming through his neck. So I'm just going to put it slightly behind him. To do that though, I don't want to get rid of the ring effect. Can I do a bias for it? No. I mean, I could just set up even distribution of 1, but that doesn't really I can still utilize the... Oh, no. Actually, I just figured out about this before. If we turn this to 0, it goes straight back. Perfect. We go that straight back, then we bring in that radius like 5. Sweet. I don't really want it to fade to such orange. Because of its positioning. So we're going to do that. And then that does look pretty flat. I don't need it coming off of a flat point. So we're going to take this radius scale. We're going to keep it, but we're going to just increase its size a little bit at the beginning. That should work. And decrease its count by a lot. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Up the alpha just a little bit so I can have a better idea of what I'm working with. But I might keep it that way too. Okay, so that does give the effect, but he's not visible all the time. So from here to here, okay, that will work. Other than I see like the lines of these different particles, like the little bulges. I want it. So let's try increasing their size a little bit.
No, weirdly enough, I want Spike to have survived this whole ordeal somehow.
Ooh, that might work right there. Okay, the length increase is caused to cross into his head. I think that should... Actually, you know, I'm going to do it like I did with the other one. So we're going to take that alpha, we're going to drop it to 1/5 its current. And then we're going to increase its count by quite a bit. Should make it for a more consistent look. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Probably bring it back just a little bit more. Okay. We don't have one in front of him because until the air actually hits him, it's not going to be displaced. And if I try to deal with how to displace air in front of his face, that'd be like trying to displace the air. Like here, I have it going around the air cone, but technically be hitting the front of the cone first. So the air would have to disperse around this cone. That's a lot of like little nuanced movements that would be hard to do. After it is this point, it's easy. It's a lot flatter surface. I don't want to deal with the front part. I don't want to go like that much into detail. It's just mainly about It's hard to show something going at a high speed without adding all these extra details on top, especially being that, I mean, technically he is not actually moving and it's everything else moving behind him. So. Okay, so this is going to be Airstream Spike. Oops. Okay, that actually should, just so it's consistent, I'll lock it with the rocket. Now I need to copy that one. And this is going to be, what is this, like an event? Just events. Actually, you know what? This might require 2.
I forget what those things are called. I know what they're for, but I forget what they're called. They're like.
Are they for the liquid oxygen to?
They're for basically keeping the rocket going in the direction they want it to go into. It can make
It depends. They'd have to have at least 3 of them around. There's one. 2, 3, oh, okay, so they have 2 on the bottom, and then there's 1.
They seem oddly placed, yeah.
Because I mean it depends. Because I could also see it. No, I guess that's probably what those are for. Because like for liquid cooling type exhaust thing. But yeah, it's probably for something like that. But it also depends on. It might use them for placing the rocket so that this, if it's going in a straight line with gravity, it probably needs the stronger ones in the bottom to keep to get rid of the gravity's influence. So it probably is one down there, and then this, who knows. That's Spike's feeding port. They feed him pure fuel. Okay, for this one though, this is going to have to be a lot smaller. It's going to be really hard to have that work. The scaling. These gotta have like a very low or very visible look. So these need to be even shorter. Probably has to be even shorter than that. Whereas it's going to be like poking at these numbers until I get something small enough. It's gonna be dealing with that other stuff there too. This I feel is going to need a consistent spawn. Even that doesn't really spawn. Oh, you know what? That's what's causing it to be spawning consistently different. There we go. So that helps a little bit. Oh, you know what? I'm doing this wrong. Lifespan. Can I go to 0.01 on lifespan? I don't think so. Actually, it's not too bad. Gonna have to be a boatload just to make this look right. Oh, but they survive for so little time.
That's good, honestly.
No, it needs a little bit more visibility. You say that a lot, and then I always tell you no.
Yeah, I know you do. It's like, yeah.
No, I have a feeling this one might actually require like 2 different variants of this. Or can I just drastically increase the length of them here? So just playing with these values until I get something that I like. But I have a feeling it's going to require a couple. Because the way I would always envision it is that the very front of it would be very, very strong. And then it would kind of fade from there. So let me try that. This would be much, much stronger. I don't think I can really shorten its life. Can I? I can slow it down though. Okay, that's just about there. I think it's just too bright now. So just drop that down. Yeah, even more than that. Okay, I think that might work. Might need to do like a render to know for sure. But I think it's about where I want it. I just spread it out a little bit more so it covers a little bit wider area. Okay, so this would be that one, what's called long. That one short. And then, oops, this one needs to be locked to the rocket too. I couldn't put the numbers at the end, but well. Okay. Okay, and this one though, it's got the arc of the back coming up here. And then I also don't want it looking exactly the same as the one behind it. That's not what I wanted. Okay, good, I didn't. So we'll go in here and change our seed. Actually, I should change the seed on this one too. Although, well, I guess it's not going to matter because it has a different spawn rate, which means it's going to look different anyway, but just in case. So now they are all using different seeds. And then with the motion blur kicks in, it actually looks pretty good. So I'm considering getting rid of motion blur for most of the stuff going forward. I'm finding that it usually is more detrimental than not. But, or at least putting it to the rate of 60 FPS instead of 30. Makes things feel slightly choppier, but it's animation, so sometimes based on a 2D animation, so I think that might actually work.
So have you decided what you're going to do with Spike at the end of this video yet?
He's dead.
No. That's sad.
I don't know what to do with him.
It would be kind of funny if he was the only one who survived.
He's just sitting in a crater, glowing green. Or just have him like lift up to like some chaotic orchestra music, just like Eagles. But have no animation, like literally just have him look like that.
That seems amazing just as it is. Look how happy Sunset is.
Why is... Oh. I want to make sure something... Normally that only happens if I go between shots, but... That is what I thought. Sometimes when you go to copy a particle, it like links them. We're going to see if we can recover it. So we save, and then we undo a whole buttload until all these vents are gone.
All the things you just made. You don't like them.
Hold on. No, it's sometimes particles when copied break other particles because it links the two, so when you make changes on one it affects the other, and that happened to one of these. So what we're going to do, well, it doesn't matter anymore.
Crashed.
Wait, I didn't want to go back that far. Normally what you can do then is just you can go back, copy something, and try to redo forward, or you copy everything that you have, then undo to that point and repaste it all. But it doesn't matter. I saved right before that happened anyway. I expected it to happen. But it got rid of that lip because I or that the effect just on the edge. So now it's gone. This way, sometimes if I copy paste particles, like if you make a new particle, you go right click and then instant particle, and it takes everything from the particle save file and locks all of it into here, so that anything affecting the outside file doesn't affect this one. Well, once you actually do it, if you copy paste it, then you go in here and you're like, well, I don't have instance anymore. So you can, if it does connect the two, how do you separate them? Well, if you go and open it up in the element viewer and right click the particle, there's instance down there. So I did that on one of these other ones when I copied it, because I actually remembered on that one, to where if I copy and paste one, I will then right click it, go and re-instance it so it separates it from its linked one. It's stupid, but it works.
Sounds like a lot of stuff.
The main time that becomes an issue is if I say copy this whole shot and I paste it, the particles I have had will link between the two save files. So I'll be putzing in this one, and then I go to the other one, and all the particles are affected. And I'm like,
Oops.
So yeah, I go in the habit of trying to re-instance everything. Instance your particles.
Now, I still remember this one ambitious project of somebody saying they were going to make a movie. And I can't find any reference to it anymore, so I'm guessing it didn't get very far. But they had official licensing from Valve to animate an entire movie in Source Filmmaker, like an hour-and-a-half long movie. And I believe the name of the movie was called Ash. But after hearing about it for a few months, I never heard about it again. Maybe it just wasn't as viable as they thought it was.
Oh no, viable's fine. It's getting the people to do it.
Yeah. They had money and professional crew, from my understanding, but it just never didn't get very far to mine. It seems.
I'm trying to remember all the values for this. I think a little bit wider. Well, Valve was going to be had their own movie, TF2 television show they were doing,
Yeah.
and then that didn't work out, so they just made bread.
That's the other thing that came out of it.
Well, that was the actual. They took all the assets from that and they turned it into expiration date.
Yeah.
That's why it was so long and high quality and everything, because it was going to be a television thing.
That one episode they did put out was good.
It wasn't an episode. It was a full one and done thing for that.
Yeah.
But they probably just had a whole bunch of other assets that they just never got to utilize.
kind of just a lot of back and forth about a half ultimately, but Game Noel was like pretty much against the idea. He just kept having studios coming to him with it.
Yeah. When it was popular, it'd be a cash cow.
Yeah, but he thought it would. There's no way he could present the Half-Life story in a single movie.
Well, that and it's known for super high quality, and I feel like no matter what, it would never match up to what they would want it to be.
And how would you have the story about a protagonist who doesn't talk?
Well, it'd have to follow somebody else.
Well, I think that's kind of why they went with Alex in the new Half-Life. It's because she can talk and carry a story a little bit better by herself. Not that I'm not a huge fan of Gordon Freeman, but he is kind of the silent type.
The fun thing with those games is that the entire thing is played through an unbroken stream of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's never a single time from the beginning of Half-Life 1 till the end of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 that you are not seeing something Gordon saw.
Mm-hmm. So
that's the thing. It's not, he doesn't talk because he's not a silent protagonist. It's because it's you.
Yeah, it makes it feel like it's you. You are the Freeman. I am a little like we've been playing Monster Hunter recently, and your character's silent in that one too.
He groans a lot.
All I ever see him do is smile and nod. That's all he does.
Yeah, no, but he does the grunts.
Yes.
Oh. But I think that's why they have the handler.
Yeah.
Her whole purpose is to be your voice.
But I feel like the only reason you don't have voice is because they were trying to go for the silent protagonist. But if they show your character's face and he's making emotions and he's like motioning to the other characters, he's not really a silent protagonist at that point. He's still responding.
No,
he just isn't talking.
I just think that he's just some big beefy person, and I like the fact that they don't talk because it's just I don't know because if they talked then they'd have to talk in multiplayer and then there would just be so much banter, and I like the fact that you just kind of go out and it's other than the handler talking, it's pretty quiet. I like it.
I just want them to be like, okay, you can finally talk. We gave you the ability. What would you like to say? And the first thing that comes out of his mouth is just screaming. Oh, why are you making me do this?
It's just not even words. It's just screaming.
Just screams. Endless scream.
Okay, that should work. If I really wanted to go into detail, you would like this little lip right here, add a little bit along that lip. And, but to try to be that precise, to try to get it right under that lip would be, not doing it. But I think I think it's helped a lot now. Spike's one, I think I'm gonna change the color a little bit. I think it needs to start out a bit more purple. Oops, always open that wrong.
Did you ever watch the YouTube series called The Mind of Freeman? Or whatever?
No, so you're the Half-Life addict, not me.
No, right. It is pretty fun.
Yeah, that blends a lot better. Well, it blends, but as soon as it kicks in, it almost does look too purple. Let me back it off just a little bit. The problem with what the color's doing right now is it's going from purple to orange, which is pretty far. It's going essentially through a couple other colors, which I think it's just becoming white in the middle.
Rainbow behind them just shooting out the back.
I would be able to do that. Because the rainbow means I'd have to fade to multiple different colors, and I can't. I can have it be a color and then go to another color.
Right.
Maybe
Don't. I don't remember Rainbow shooting at a spike.
Well, no, because if you had it had it start red, and then had it like fade to yellow, you would pass 2 colors on the way there, and then if you set up a fade that was, if you did that one at a half point fade, then you did a second one, a fade that did much longer, you could probably have that pass from the green then into purple. So maybe it'd be interesting, but I'm not going to do that now. But it is an interesting thought experiment.
How did you make you put all these air effects around the rocket?
The clouds were put in the background originally to give it the feeling of speed, but I felt that there was still nothing that was giving him the speed. But this is what it's technically going to be like. I wasn't using the shake camera before, but there will be a shake to the camera. But I don't want to. I'm not going to utilize the shake in render, because every time it moves a little bit, the engine's going to be like, "Oh, you want motion blur for that?" So it just makes everything fuzzy because it's just constantly bouncing. So I will render without the camera shake, like that, and then I will do shaking in Adobe, because Adobe has a neat little thing where when it does a shake and it moves this whole frame outside of the normal frame, then it would normally have a black box or a black edge. But if you do it right, so when the rocket takes off here, the camera is shaking here, but I did not render it with that. But if you look, yeah, you can see it actually will do a mirror effect to fill in the black gap. So you can see it actually stops right here, and then it actually mirrors it above. So you can see the rocket mirrored across. Actually, you can see it right here too. Some of these bits look like they fade. Yeah, like here you can see this pole. So if you make the effect too strong, you get a really weird, like suddenly like these poles come into weird existence and then don't. But when you actually watch it in full, you kind of don't really notice it. Here you can kind of see a little bit if you're watching. As this thing disappears, it kind of looks like...
This is one of those things I think only you're going to see, while this is like everybody else is going to watch and be like, that's amazing, and you're going to be the one guy who's like, yeah, you can kind of notice that reflection there.
Well, the way to do it otherwise is to... you just scale the size of the video up to like 105%. Mm-hmm. Well, then it will shake outside of that. Yeah. But then if you're doing that, you're also... And when you render something, you're doing it, it's grabbing every single pixel perfectly, but when you scale anything, it has to interpret how to fill those gaps that you've now created for 5%. And that will mean that it won't be as sharp as the rest somewhat. The software now is pretty smart, will figure it out and do pretty good, but I don't want to do that. So, especially when we're running in 4K, so I would want to leave it just as it is. So that's the way to fix it. But for like this, and especially for this, the camera shake on this is going to be so small that you're never even going to notice. The only thing that with this that I like is this is right now, is this jittering by rotation? It's such a small amount, I can't even tell. Oh, okay. It is shaking by, I can see it up here. It's shaking by the white line. The white line is rotation. Then I am fine. It's if I shake by like this, that's what Adobe's going to do. But if it shakes like this, I can't have Adobe simulate that. So that is fine. All right. Spike is done. Spike is done again.
Yeah.
I just saw it and then I went on a tangent. We also changed the camera earlier to have it like change the perspective on this. I should have it every time it blinks, just zoom in a little bit. Actually, even better.
It's
No.
so much.
It's a little much, yes. Wait, no, let me fix it. When in doubt, spin.
Yes. Wowza. I feel like somebody has to say wowza when you do that spin.
Sadly, I can't. It would be nice if SFM lets you like to put text on screen easier, but it's not. I have to basically create a PNG, convert it to VTF, then import it as an overlay if I want to put any text on there. That's what I had to do for this.
Oh yeah. You got a brain.
There's an overlay right there.
Nah.
Should probably put this. I could probably just, and I probably should. I should, when I render this, remove this. And put it in After Effects, because if I decide sometime in the future that I want to change what this effect looks like, I'd have to re-render the whole shot. But if I decide that but if I have it in post, then I can change that on top of the render. It's one of the reasons that that angered me with Remembrance when I did this. I made the mistake of I rendered it with the black bars.
Yeah.
Oops. Because if I would have left that on there and did it in post, which I had to put it over, fix it on post anyway, so that I had a nice sharp line instead of SFM's sort of sharp line. If I wouldn't have done that, there is, and actually this is the BronyCon version. I want this version. At this point, she does an effect where she, there's this like cool like echo effect that's shot through, and that was done in After Effects. But because I had done this in or I had the black lines included with the render, before it explodes outwards, it actually slightly pulls inward. But when it pulls inward, the black bars are included with that, so the effect then pulled the black bars in.
No.
And I'm like, So when I did the pull-in effect, I had to minimize it more than I wanted, and I had to mask it just at the edge so that it just didn't grab that. But then it didn't. That's why, like down here, and it's hard to see with the, there a little bit. You can see it's warped inwards. That's why it's warped, but not up at this point. Mm-hmm. Because if I warped it up there, I was starting to pull the whole video itself and collapse it in. With the black bars, so I had to pull it in.
That shot right there is terrifying.
Why?
Look at the statues. They're like horrifying right now.
Well, yeah, because it was just adding the light effect to them. But no, I liked having the pull-in effect. because it made it so when I did the effect outwards, it made it feel like. So this made it look like the actual windows themselves were bending in, and then after that, it made it look like they snapped back to their normal position, and then like a ghostly image of them went outwards, and I love that effect.
I think the effect you did with the wings is the most impressive part, honestly. Them just kind of fading away.
Not really.
Maybe not really.
They're not. They increase their alpha, but then they get locked in position there. They don't even move, and they only fade to a certain degree. I couldn't get them to fade anymore without it snapping, like just something like disappearing. What I should have done, and I can't remember if I did that. No, actually, I might have done that in here. I might have done. Oh, actually, did that? I have an error there. Yep. So you can actually see when I turn the alpha on. You can see they're fully visible and not transparent at all right here. And then suddenly, boop. Yeah. So it's as soon as you turn on transparency with models at all. So if you go from 1 to 99.99999, they jump to that. So the only way to do it otherwise is to go into like After Effects, do dual render, and then fade between the shots. So this is just the normal SFM transparency, which does not work very well. This like spider webby effect that comes out of her though, that was actually done in After Effects, and then I added that on afterwards. But without it, it just didn't look the same.
Yeah.
I spent like hours trying to figure out how to make some kind of a smoky effect. I think the BronyCon version has that too, but it's not as good. Oh, it's actually bigger. These are two separate renders. This was the 1080 version, and I had to go and redo everything. I kind of like that effect more. I should have done it with that. That was much, much bigger.
But you did do it with that, and then you changed it.
But no, it's essentially the same effect. It's probably smaller because this is 1080 and the other one's 4K, so when I copy pasted it in here, I didn't scale it up the same. But yeah, I actually like that more. That was much, much bigger.
My little necromancer. Which that is.
It's easier to run through because it's not 4K. And I think her wings actually fade better here too. Oh, they fade better because I had the light was brighter. And if you never noticed too, so little lights are on her, go in front of her, and then hit her in the face. Which these balls, annoying. They only render the A to B distance they've traveled based on the frame rate. So if you look at this, it means that they rendered here and then here and then here. So the lower the frame rate, the square or the less rounded this was.
Yeah.
And I almost rendered this at like 48 and then backed it down to 24 just because of that shit. So that I could because it would then put more instances. If I ever previewed it, it was previewing at about 6 to 7 frames a second. It would put one here, then one here, and it would cut straight across. But that was just the automated ones. The ones that actually come in front of her face here are not the same ones. Those are manually moved, and that's why their position is a lot more detailed. It was just easier to have it automate. So particles are a bitch. Oh yeah, so we're going to start getting some of these shots figured out so that I know if I'm. Why is her? Whatever.
She knows.
There's nothing in it.
That's a good thing.
What'd you knock down?
My glass case.
Oh. It's like nothing's happening.
I don't know what you seem concerned about.
Pinky watched you do that.
She did. She's disappointed. That's
Michael.
Oh no. That's disturbing. Oh.
It was very elegant, though.
Yes. So, if Spike landed a rocket on top of Sunset, does that make him Dorothy or Toto?
It makes him dead.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess that means he doesn't get her boots. Just so Spike wearing her boots. Yes.
Yeah, it's because that is the worst thing of that.
Boots. Yes, he crushed that woman. She's dead. Dead at the age of 35. Too young. Too young.
Well, she's fine.
Yeah, she looks okay. Even then, she's there. She doesn't look okay. She's just like, all around me you are familiar. Hey,
I'm fine.
you're fine. You don't look okay.
I'm okay.
Oh no.
Goodbye, cruel world. Woo. Wait.
My bad, it's just her legs. Just even more horrifying. Put her under the rocket doing like jazz hands or something, so if anybody ever comes into the file after you upload it to the internet and just look at it, she'll just be like, yay!
Oh, she's like weird. Put it back there. No. Why would anybody come into the file? Like, I would remember that, and I'm the only one that's going to be in this file.
I thought you always uploaded these to the internet eventually.
No, I upload, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I upload the per person animation. So I'll go through and I haven't done that in a while. I probably should update. Like I would go through here and I would say, okay, Twilight, I would take this to this, copy it, go to this shot, nothing in that shot. Then I go to this one, Twilight, I would paste it, and then I would keep copy pasting all the way through until I had one shot that had everything from beginning to end of her entire animation for that entire bit, and then I would export that as a file. So she'd be doing a lot of jumping around within the shot, but it'd be exactly as it was for every shot. Which oftentimes would also include motion that was not seen on camera because of like maybe I copy pasted animation that continued off scene, and I did copy pasting and they weren't in that shot, so I just let that part stay. So sometimes it'll like have them kind of walk and then like one leg just keeps doing this for a while. But it works. Is this fair going up? Oh. It is going up, but it is based on the camera. So it's going to be a little weird. Yeah, that'll be fine, whatever. I don't care. What is this light? I think I was getting it started, but I never finished. So this light is going to be one of probably. I can probably get away with just a couple here. Every other shot is slightly purple. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna steal the color that these shots are and paste it here. And this is going to act as the base. So this is there. I'm going to drop it quite low because this is, I need to fill it so that it's an ambient feel. So I'm going to put that here. Drop that a little bit more. Okay. So this is just my base light to start with. There will be some stuff back there, but I might be able to cheat that with fire.
Purple.
See you later, purple. Well, this finished product, I've been working on this since November 9th of 2018. So...
We haven't even gotten to the alien bit yet.
No, we're not doing that bit. No. And so all this part is done. Like, all this is... Yeah, so we're working on the end part right now. But Friday, I'm not going to be working on this. I'm going to be working on a Rathalos thing. So, because I'm out of content, or going to be out of content soon.
You just put clips of from Guardians of the Galaxy, and nobody will notice.
I still just like that shot. I'm just like,
Like, yeah, it's
science.
science. This is what science does. That's good.
Yay, dead. Steal her slippers, Spike.
Yes.
Alright. So, I'm gonna probably drop that ambient just a little bit more. We need... I got the ambient because I now need rock. Oh yeah, actually I don't need to put anything in the background there because we will just put rocks down. I haven't loaded the library yet, damn it. That's one thing I need to do before stream is I need to open up a library and then just let it load. It's probably gonna crash before I even finish. Triple check that I saved. Well, first time loading a library takes forever. If I restart the software, I don't know if it indexes in the background or RAM or something, but it's a lot faster. We're not putting Tom in there though.
Oh, is that Tom? It would be kind of funny.
Nope, the mask has a couple rocks that are perfect for what I need. Actually, no, it's not the mask. It's something else. I can't remember. I'm not using it in this file.
What's the mask?
It's, I think it's the name of the person that just uploaded it, but they're really detailed models that were from some games that they exported. I know Arkham Asylum is one of them because there's a lot of Batman reference stuff in it, but there's some alien stuff too, and but like, yeah, look at this. It's really, really detailed, so I love that. Oh, was that the rocks I'm looking for? Or like this one. I love this rock because this is a broken, uneven surface that is still fairly flat. So I can take this and copy paste it and repeat it over a surface to make an uneven ground.
See.
And then here's some extra pieces you can throw on top. It's super, super nice for that. But unless these have, yeah, it's only one skin, meaning that, yeah, I knew I was going to do that. Being only has one skin, I don't want to deal with moss-covered rock for a shot like this. And I don't want to have to modify the texture.
So you're all out of content for Rathalos, huh?
No, I got 3 videos left, but 2 of them one I'm for sure not going to post, and the second one I'm thinking about not, which means I have only 1 left.
Why are you not supposed to?
One of them was the very, very first one I did before he had malflexes, and it was just a test. So all of his lip syncing is just about open and closing, and then a couple little bones in the side. So because of that, I'm not going to post that because it looks janky compared to the later stuff.
Okay.
So that means I have 1 more, and I've been spacing it out to 3 to 4 days between. So I'm gonna post another one probably Friday, and that'll be the last one, maybe. So I'm gonna have another one ready to post like a week later. I'm having fun just interacting and posting bullshit otherwise. Looking for a specific rock, and I just can never remember the name of it. Okay, those are those ones. Oh, I think that might be it. No, but they might. Maybe. They look like they're going to be shiny. But that might work. I just wanted something flat. I might be able to put those in, but there is some that are dark, flat, and perfect. I swear they're not. I know how to figure out what it is. This file is getting too big though. I'm hoping I can actually finish it before it caps up on memory. But I think it's trying to load everything, and then I think if I just even let it sit on a shot in the up here, it eventually start dumping the rest of it. Oh yeah, I didn't want to actually open that. We're going to open. I use the rock I want in here.
Has there ever been a video you had to split into 2?
Astero split into 4. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. Astero split in 4. Chemistry was split in 2. Most of it's on one shot, but the one that has like 100 ponies in it took too much memory. That is its own save file for that one shot. Leaving the stable is split in 2, but that was because it required 2 different maps, and I didn't know how to do dual map render before.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the rock I want. So it is the mask. Scene build rocks. Rock underscore solid 11. Okay. And then this is also rock solid 7. So rock underscore solid is what I'm looking for. All right. Have a good night, Blurred.
Everyone fell asleep.
You don't have any more things to knock over.
Challenge.
Knock your glasses over, not my cup.
Not your
Coaster.
Your
That's a very expensive coaster.
yes, it got lady on it. She's
I think that came from the Fallout 4 loot box. The only time I've ever gotten a loot box. Loot box was cool until it went out of business.
loot box.
As far as I know, they went out of bit. They no longer do it. They're done.
Mm-hmm. I think their entire customer base was YouTubers. So
For the price, like I have the Fallout 4 dog over there, little plush. That came out of the loot box. I also got a jacket, a laptop bag, 4 enamel pins, a whole bunch of coasters, 2 posters, a Brotherhood of Steel flag. Kyle, I think, has that though. I was thinking about getting it back because he had in his old apartment like the 2-story high ceiling, and so he had put it on his wall. Well, now it's we have that big stairwell. I thought about putting the Brotherhood of Steel flag there, but I gotta check to see if he still has it.
Was this the loot box? Was this Fallout 3 or 4? Oh, I go 4. Brotherhood of Steel were jerks in 4. They were cool in 3.
So rock.
I went back and I played 3. And you can run into Maxon as a child in 3. You can't kill him though. It's a bummer.
See, you can't kill kids, and the kids can't kill.
I could.
You can murder? Well, I thought even when you're
No,
a kid, you're not actually a kid. Isn't it like in the models, you're just a small person?
No, they actually had different models for the children. In Fallout.
No, when you're playing as a kid.
And what,
Do you ever see what happens when they back the camera off in Fallout 3 when you're a kid?
when somebody mods it so you can play as a kid.
Yeah.
You mean?
Damn it.
Never played as a kid.
No, it's no. Remember at the very beginning, you're a baby.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot you are a kid at the beginning of Fallout 3.
This is you.
Oh, you're just tiny. A tiny full-grown man.
That is the.
Our baby is quite muscular.
Yeah. That's the exact picture I remember because he's just staring down at him.
No. It's so wrong.
But yeah, it's really shook in it with the arrow and it didn't come back. But yeah, I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it.
My son, father, like my baby boy. It's dead.
I might actually need to have these lights have shadow. I don't like that. Or I'll at least need to have one of them. Oh, I was like, where's the ground? It's just behind the rocket. Because otherwise, she's going to have no shadows. Which I guess is kind of the point of the ambience. Yeah, I might just keep them off. I'm probably going to have to turn it way down, though. Put it to that. It's just that it's coming through the rocket, so that's the only way to get the shadow on this side, but whatever. that small enough on the details, or do I want to go smaller? I think that should be fine. But I like this ground because it has bump maps, meaning it will be a lot more detailed from this angle. It'll actually show detail on the ground, so I love this ground model, or because it's not even supposed to be ground, it's just I've made it such. And if you want to make ground, you just copy paste them all over the place.
Works.
But you have to like turn them and overlap them a little bit, otherwise they start looking weird. Hello, Clumsy. Sea building is fun. When I do scene builds, I like to do this in layers. So it's about think about your base and then add detail from there. So like in this case, I'm going to go through and add a flat layer of ground. Is that going to be how it's looking final? Hell no. But it gives me a place to start from. So I'm going to keep going like this until I get at least a decent distance away. I love this song. No, I tripped the volume.
What specifically do you love? Is it the fire, the ground, the dead lady?
I was saying the song, but as soon as it touched the volume, it cut it. I'll cut back in. I still got to look up more from this guy, this Nicholas Osted. He's got some amazing music. I think we'll do one more. Okay, come on. Don't be stupid. Actually, I think I just froze up the browser completely over there. Apparently, changing the volume is a very intense procedure. Put that one up a little bit more. Oh. I'm just gonna pick another like rock here. Put this one up. So this is just gonna make like an uneven ground feeling. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get that back. I think it just completely crashed Brave. So we are going to restart Brave. Give me a sec. Because I have no chat. No chat's back.
Hello, chat.
I usually don't go in from this way, so now how do I pop out here? Let's review quests. Screw it, we're going back the normal way. Mudik. Hello, Hamusta. Sorry, my browser crashed trying to get everything back again. There we go. Now I can play that song. Alright, so these are the different rocks I actually like using for the scene build too. There's one, I think it was 8 or 7. Yeah, 7 I like because this is nice and flat. So it's great for creating just an uneven surface for this. So actually I don't need to do that. Just rotate it down. So because these are all from the same game and everything, all their textures match too. So I'm just gonna toss this in a couple places just to create some kind of uneven surface. I don't want to put this too close because I need to make sure that you can see into the background here. So this will be rock 1. And I'm just gonna keep using the same rock because it's an amazing little rock. Going to turn a little bit like here. We'll put that there, and then we're going to take that same rock, turn it to a weird angle and just put it right with it. Now it looks like a different rock.
Versatility of rocks.
And then we just keep tossing this random spots. I do want to maintain some of the flat ground, but again, because the textures match, being that again the same model, I can basically put it wherever I want and have it just show by the teeniest of amounts, even like that, and it just kind of blends, which is great. So we're gonna put a little bit by the rocket here. So let's make it look like this thing had like created a bit of a jut upwards. So like it's not going to arc the way I want it to, but we can make it do it. So this is going to create just on the edge here. We can touch the line and not break it again. Ha! Worked this time. Okay, these are arced a little bit on this side. So we can grab like this part of it.
Nigel Thornberry just coming up the rocket and staring down at the body and going, smashing. Oh. It's a very smashing moment. You know, because of the smashing.
Yes. So I want to put her in a flat area. I don't want to have any of the rocks like actually up on her crap. So we're going to just kind of put it around her a little bit. Oops, that's too small. Too big. There we go.
Just
Just to have it poking a little bit to give that definition coming from the side. Probably can even add some like right on the edge of the camera here. Okay. Now I have that like dark background there. What I can do though is take some of these rocks. I'm just going to create like a... I just don't have a flat like cutoff on the background. So we're just going to turn some of these and to make sure that it doesn't look like I'm just taking the same rock multiple times.
But you are.
I am. But you can take, if you take one rock, you can only do so much with it, but if you take the same rock and then like say for this, you just shrink it down, put it like in the middle between the two, like this. Suddenly now they look nowhere near the same. It's just little things that is thrown between or on top of just to make it look slightly different. That's all that matters. But like this one, I'm going to turn this one all the way around now, so I'm looking at the back of it, and that is therefore different. I think that, yeah, that rock's off camera, so that's fine. The aperture on this is sitting on my two work cameras. Pretty high, so that's good. So now I have this ridge of rock, which is great, because now I just take another rock, move it much further back. I'm gonna have to play with their lighting a little bit here. Because I made that ridge, I'm not able to see the ground behind it, which means now I can just create artificial distance and just say like, okay, now this is some point further behind. And the reason for doing it this way is because of the, what do you call it? The aperture at the setting it's at. It's going to blur this a bit more, giving the perception of distance. And now after this, I don't even really have to add any more rocks. I can just go and toss in like a skybox. I should be able to get away with it. So those lights are missing. I'm probably going to darken those a little bit, so I'm going to aim it so that it's touching them just barely. Okay, so that just kind of looks like it fades into the distance there. And then, yeah, I'll have to figure out with the fire. I'm probably going to decrease that size a little bit. And spike incoming.
Spiegel.
Oh, no, I have a sky dome for that one, so I can't actually use that. But for this one, what am I using? Ah, there is a sky dome.
I know, hardtack.
No, that's the... so close.
Oh, she's like about racing.
Twilight, why you no love me? My heart, it aches.
Twilight's
Wisdom just right, it says Twilight's butt.
Yeah, click
it. You mean click here?
It was misleading.
Butt.
She is a butt.
Okay, and then I'm just going to take this sky card. Oh, that is a big sky card. We're going to shrink that way down. I do want to have this far away, though. My skin's cracked.
If you just move the skybox around a little bit too, you can make the clouds are moving.
Well, yeah, I do that all the time. But I don't want to actually do that with this one. So, like, for this right now, it's too bright. It actually looks pretty good just on its own. Like, if I were to leave it like this, because this sky makes it look like... Cloudy usually means less shadows and more ambient everywhere, and that's kind of what this is giving. Can I actually flip this upside down? No. What I should do is put it to about here. This is set skins. That's the 7th one. Oh, it's probably not going to be this one though.
You know, as gruesome as it is, given that rocket is just hammered into the ground, there's nothing left of Starlight except the legs that are sticking out. There's just goo under that rocket.
Oh, I already had done the guesswork. So this is 781. So okay. Might do that a little bit brighter. A little bit more blue. No, more. I had that wrong. More red. Oh. No. Go back to it. Oh shit, go back. Okay, yeah, that should work. And do one more thing, and then I'm going to call it a night. So
The shot is in night.
but then I want to also have this fade a little bit into the distance. So we're going to take a light.
It's the moon.
I need to match this color first.
I have a feeling there's going to be some Starlight fans who are not going to be thrilled with you.
Starlight?
Sunset.
Sunlight.
It's the same horse, different color scheme.
No, so then by putting this there, it's creating a slight haze, which just creates a slight increase to the art, like an artificial distance. So,
I never did watch that episode that they're together.
it's minor, but it helps blend it with the background and helps make it look farther away. But I like how The rocket just smashed into her, and in doing so, everything else became post-apocalyptic. That works for me.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
But actually, I could, if I wanted to, arc the ground up to make it so that she was in a crater type thing. Because I would think that something hitting her at that speed would still create some kind of a ground effect. So anyway, I am done for now, though. Yeah. So I will be back Friday, but I will be working on, or try to just work on a Rathlos thing. I already have an idea of something to do, and it won't be that bad. I should be able to finish it in one stream. I might actually work on it a bit, and if I finish it before Friday, then I might just stream more pony stuff. So I'll just like put like a pony here that's just dancing, so that the whole time you be like,
You'd be working on your Rathlos thing, and I'd just look over and be like, You'd be like, Mike, look, that'd just be the whole stream.
if you can do it for hours at a time. All right.
Yes.
Yep. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Not a weekend. It's not even Friday. Whatever. I'm a little ahead of time. Have a cat. How about that?
Meow, meow.
Meow. So, all right. Bye bye.
I'm gonna go this way.
Get that chair out of here.